IE Pro U is the name of our product. The I stands for implicit, the E stands for explicit, Pro stands for profiling, and U stands for the fact that you can do it yourself in your own office with an online connection.
Most of the implicit measurements that have been developed rely on reaction time, how fast people are to respond under this condition versus that condition, which has some advantages, but it also has disadvantages because the data is incredibly noisy, and that noisy data tends to create unreliable measures. The approach we've taken gets away from reaction time and looks at the content of people's evaluations. So we look at whether people say that this abstract image is pleasant or unpleasant. We look at whether they say it seems disgusting or pretty or beautiful or happy or any number of specific emotional responses. And so that gives us a much more fine-grained window into what exactly people are feeling, and it does so in a way that produces better psychometrics, in other words, better reliable measurement.
Respondents go through a traditional introduction, welcome to our survey, a few maybe screening questions up front, some demographic questions, but then they go through some what we call response tasks. And a response task, to get at the implicit, really involves seeing a quick prime of your entities of interest, misdirecting them to what's called a target image, and having them respond to the target image in terms of what attributes it's conveying, whether they think the target image is conveying happiness or sadness or anger or guilt or whatever it is. So those are the implicit response tasks. The explicit response tasks, the respondents simply see some representation of the entity of interest, your brand, your product, or whatever, and they respond directly as to what that's conveying to them explicitly as they look at it and they think about it. You can sit at your desk, upload your own materials, meaning the entities that you're interested in studying. You can upload the attributes that you're interested in assessing your entities against. You can then launch the sample and collect the data. The time that it takes for you to organize all your materials is probably the most time that you'll spend, because once you have all that information organized, it can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to get it all working, upload it, and get the study going. If I get an implicit result and somebody is feeling happy implicitly but not explicitly, we know that we want to catch happiness in people when they're in a hurry, or if they're just lounging around and maybe they're half asleep watching a television commercial. If you can inject that implicit happiness in some way, then that type of marketing will work better. If you, on the other hand, know that happiness has to be thought about before it can influence people, then we want to be more explicit in our marketing. We want to get people's attention and say to them, hey, think about this, right? Think about being happy. And when you think about being happy, you will choose our brand, because explicitly, that's how you see our brand.